Before you purchase SlickText, I would definitely say that you should know that it is not a conversational app where you're going back and forth, despite the fact that you can have conversation. One of the things that I liked the most about it, and also at first I didn't like about it, was the fact that it was so open-ended. It has a lot of power. So just know that you might have to do some research so that you can understand everything that it's able to do and have a plan for when you get started so that you don't get bogged down by all of the tools that it has available and that it doesn't misdirect you. As the executor over my organization, I actually use SlickText to communicate with our broad community who is throughout our state. I reach out to people to let them know about the events that are coming up, activities, and people who are available to help other families, other organizations, because we speak to families, we speak to organizations and companies, and we connect them and bridging the gap. And so we use two different SlickText text options with the keywords so that we can give two different perspectives, one for the businesses and one for the families. And we let them know what each other is doing and what is available to one another so that they can communicate and get to know the things that are happening. And my job is to make sure that everyone stays connected and that everyone is able to know exactly what's happening. And SlickText allows me to be able to do that effectively, when before it was actually really difficult because everything was so disjointed. I was sending emails here and there, and people were sending it to a lot of different emails, from the hello to the admin and to different people. And we were losing a lot of information. So that's basically what I do, and it helps streamline that process. The main reason that we chose to choose SlickText was, first off, the price. And not just the price being low, but actually the price for what it would do. So it wasn't per click or per link. It was per message that you were sending to people. So if our outreach was small, we didn't have to pay the same price that we would have to pay for someone who had a large reach. We literally only were paying for what we were using. And as a smaller organization, that was something that really spoke to us. And we wanted to utilize that effectively, but also the features. So not only was the price point good, but the features allowed us to be able to do every single thing, and actually more things than we were expecting. The main thing that we wanted to do at the time was onboard new people and make sure that we weren't losing retention. But it turned out that creating that space for communication and connecting the organizations to the families became the main point and focus of what we were able to do. And when they added the tool to be able to respond to text messages, it just changed everything. We decided we weren't even going to switch when things got more large. We were like, this is exactly what we need. So that's why we chose it. And honestly, that's why we stayed. Okay, so we actually were considering using MailChimp's software. They now allow text. And we were also just going to try to simply just send text messages out to families. At first, we were just individually sending messages. We thought, we are a team. We have a good amount of people. We can send these text messages out. And we also were looking at another organization that I can't remember because they are so far gone from what we wanted now, that we've been using SlickText for such an amount of time that the name doesn't even matter to me because we literally turned our backs on it. So that's really funny, but definitely MailChimp and just manually sending out messages and email. We were thinking that we could just manage it that way. But the ease of use on onboarding, we can just put the QR code onto the flyers. We can put the QR code on any type of when we're at vendor events, when we are at showcases, we can just allow people to onboard so easily that it was a no-brainer for us. It was not even difficult. As a matter of fact, the price point of MailChimp would have become doubled, and it was just going to be way more than what we needed from MailChimp, and also not giving us all the tools that we wanted to have. And they were actually doing a couple of things that we were a little bit too much of what we wanted, but also still not providing what we truly needed. So it was just going to be overkill and underkill at the same time. And as previously mentioned, sending email had become so inefficient to the point that we were losing messages, things were getting buried, wires were getting crossed, and it was just easier to send things straight forward to people. And we knew that messages got sent out properly. We could even get people's names, emails, and numbers when they signed up. And then port that information into just a normal MailChimp mailing list for emails. It was so simple. As a matter of fact, one of the things we really like to do is create our normal MailChimp newsletter, and then add the link to the newsletter for those who just do not want email marketing. And we'll put the link to it, and we'll say, hey, a new newsletter has came out. Please take a look at it. And so it actually is just so much more effective for what we're wanting. And sending text messages was an absolute no. But email was tedious, and honestly, it just was too much, and we were losing too many pieces. Getting started with SlickText was very simple and easy. They literally walk you through the process. They take you from step by step, and you can skip it if you would like to. When I got onboarded, it was so simple. I was like, oh man, I don't know why I was even scared to do this, because text marketing was a little bit, it made me a little apprehensive, because I thought that it was something that larger businesses and organizations did. We have probably only about 500 members. And so we were not a large organization. So I thought this was something that was exclusively for them. But they literally made it so simple and easy. There was no coding. If I needed to add something to my website, I could literally just drop the information in. When you go to their widgets and tools, they actually break down how to use them in imagery, and they even have video footage. So even if you get lost, they have tools to help redirect your path. And I was really appreciative of that, because some tools, I didn't even know it meant. I was like, what is this? What does this mean? Because, but when you use things, it has the language it has text messaging language. And I was like, what does this mean? But SlickText literally broke down what everything was, how everything worked. And they even had video that allowed me to see how the process worked. And you can also test the pieces before you send them out. And that was a big deal to me, because I didn't want to send something and it was not going to work. I love using the keywords because they make it very simple. When I'm running a program, when I'm running anything, the keywords keep me focused on exactly what it's about. And when I was getting onto SlickText, I didn't originally know what keywords were. And once they broke down the process of how it worked, that quickly became my favorite part of it. And as a matter of fact, when I got very confused and I felt like there was a feature that it did not have, I literally reached out to the SlickText team, and I was like, I'm really confused that you don't have this tool that I'm looking for, and I don't know what I'm trying to do. They actually messaged me back almost immediately. It was probably a few days later, added the tool onto the website, and made it extremely comprehensive. So not only was it very simple to onboard, but even as a new customer, they treated me extremely well. And they took my thoughts into consideration by not only saying like, oh, this was nice, I'm going to answer your question, but they actually used my idea and actually placed it onto the site. So I thought that was amazing. For others, if you are considering SlickText, I really, really recommend you do your research. Weigh what it is that you're looking for in a text marketing tool and see if this really fits what you need as a consumer. They have a lot of tools that are useful for those who are small and for those who are large, but see if the tools are exactly what you need and if it's something that you feel like you can grow into. Reach out to the team. They are so responsive, and call. I called up before when I did not have access to something because I did not know that my account was no longer paying for the SlickText. And I was like, oh no, it wasn't paying. Do I still have access to my contacts? They went through the program and they said, hey, here you go. We're going to reinstate things and get it all lined up for you. So if you have questions, reach out to the SlickText team. They will be responsive. Do research. It is useful to know what it is that you are walking into and create a good plan for growth, because this is a growth tool and it can help you to move forward. Look at their tools, see what they are, and it can help you to expand if you use them properly. These are the two things that I would really say, but the third thing that I think is literally most important, take the leap. I literally just advise you to take the leap, to go ahead and and try the tool out. It's not expensive, and you will literally be able to dive deep into what it is, check out the tools, and see for yourself exactly how amazing this tool is. And it's not something that is scary. There is a low barrier to entry, and you can do this. You can make it happen. Those are my 3 tips. And so I hope that those tips are helpful.